right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Arc Newsroom, where we talk about everything Qlik related, everything AI, BI, data, and everything that's going on with Arc Analytics and the future here. So today's gonna be a quick session. Again, kind of just getting this series rolling, trying to get some traction, and as we start to have some more things to talk about, we're gonna be kind of exploring some fun topics. So let's start in the Qlik Cloud space here. What happened in the last 2 weeks? Well, there's been some updates to the data gateway. Those of you that are using Qlik Sense, data gateway, and connecting to on-prem sources, there is an update out there now that's going to help alleviate some of those problems, get some of the bugs out. So that was one of the big things there. There's now some primary key helpers for SQL queries in there. That's part of the new kind of version they've been pushing out. And then not necessarily related to Qlik Cloud, but backfilling some of these changes here that we're talking about, some styling, some redesign. I'll try to put the link here below to the announcement of the new May 2026 Qlik Sense release, complete redesign of the QMC, some new capabilities, some new toggling. They did a big facelift to the back end, which has been long overdue. So really nice to see a little bit of love going to Qlik Sense, and not just updating the cloud product first and foremost. So super cool to see that. Also related to Qlik, but I put this here in the middle category of BI and data, is the new Qlik CEO. Mike Capone stepped down a couple weeks ago now, about 3 weeks ago. Got a new Qlik CEO stepping in, and it's going to be interesting. He's got a really strong background, Harvard MBA, worked at McKinsey. He's been at Qlik for some time here too. So let's see. I know I'm really excited to see kind of what he brings, and especially how Qlik is going to position themselves in the market this year and even the rest of the decade. There's a lot taking place here around some of the hyperscalers, and even more in some of the BI landscape as they start to consolidate. So it'll be really interesting to see kind of where things go with the new Qlik CEO. Next on the list here is Micron Technologies. I don't know why I put a typo there, but they just passed the $1 trillion club. This is huge. We're seeing a lot of the chip makers surge right now. They just jumped 20% yesterday in the market. They're up 2% today, absolutely surging. And a lot of these secondary markets are starting to get some of the after effects of the AI boom. We're seeing the chip makers just run with that and NVIDIA. And then we're also seeing things like Snowflake to 30% today. So huge gains to be had in some of this AI space. Who knows? Maybe Qlik and the new CEO will try to take shape with one of the chipsets, right? Something interesting, maybe. The next thing here in the AI space is the AI executive order. I put this out here because it's kind of an interesting concept. We saw kind of the first AI executive order get shot down by Trump, and an effort to what they called, preserve the competitive edge. And what the executive order would force them to do is basically report their findings, report their models, get pre-approval for a certain window before it could be released to the public, probably to alleviate and prevent something like the Mythos incident we had a couple of weeks ago. And it's an interesting concept because everybody's kind of looking for some guidance and some governance at a federal level. And, they decided to put a hold on that in the name of speed. And right now, speed of decision is kind of key here. So it'd be really interesting to see, how much further that can go before things go south. Moving into the Arc side of stuff here, we got some new web pages coming out, doing some industry partnerships page, doing a contracts page. We got some new AI pages coming out to support our new offerings. and we're making some enhancements to the staffing page. So website will be getting more and more of a facelift as we continue to work on it. Excited to see that development. And then contracts. I put this here because we are kind of expanding some of our contract set. We're now able to do staff aug in Oklahoma. We're working on staff aug in New York, and then there's going to be some more staff aug and other opportunities here. It's RFP season. RFP season is around the corner, so pretty interesting. Who knows what we'll go after here. And then I'll kind of end with our Larc capability. So if you don't know, it's the first time you hear me talk about it. Larc is our fully agentic Arc Analytics employee. He runs locally on a Qwen 3.6 model, fully quantized on a VLLM, running on an Asus GX10 with the Grace Blackwell 10 chip on 128 gigs of unified RAM. So he's just running away full time, doing what he needs to do, chipping away, and we're going to be making a lot of cool videos kind of about some of the things that he's been doing for us, some of the social media you might have seen, some emails that are going out. He's starting to pop up and have a lot more influence over, what we're doing and everything like that. So Larc is going to be kind of on our running list here every 2 weeks. I'd like to give an update on a little bit about what Larc is up to and, kind of some improvements we've made. I know right now we're making some enhancements to, we might push him up to 3.7, and we're kind of looking at the context window settings, see if there's anything we can improve there. So always nice to kind of be, pushing forward, making some changes here. But, I like to keep these short and kind of keep you in the loop of what's going on, all things Qlik, all things AI, and all things Arc. So thanks for tuning in, and see you next week.